What's going on, everyone? It's Steven here, back at you with a video for a new car stereo I just recently picked up, the Pioneer FH-X720BT. The BT standing for Bluetooth, as this deck provides you with the ability to make hands-free calls and stream music from your smartphone. This deck initially caught my interest as I needed a replacement deck for my stock stereo, which was really limited as far as options and sound quality. It's priced in the lower $100 range, has great functionality, looks cool, and is a double din, which is compatible with my car. I didn't need a higher-end deck with a touchscreen and navigation, just something basic like this model. Anyway, in this video, I will be doing a quick unboxing, review, and demo of the stereo for you guys, so you can judge for yourself if it's as good of an option for your vehicle as it is for me. So for a quick recap of the major features of the deck, it has Bluetooth functionality, direct iPod control, compatibility with Android and iOS devices, the ability to plug in a USB flash drive, Pioneer's MixTracks, which gives you a DJ-like mix of your music. It also has a multicolor display for customization and the ability to play WMA and MP3 files. Here are the specs, specifically the audio specs. You get 2 RCA pre-outs, 50 watts, a 5-band equalizer, a 24-bit digital audio converter, and subwoofer control. The packaging is pretty standard Pioneer. If you've ever bought any car audio stuff from them, it remains familiar. First thing I pulled out was the included remote, which allows you to adjust the volume, change the radio band, mute the audio, change tracks, answer calls, flip between radio functions, pause music playback, and change the display mode. One thing to note about the remote, it's really light and it's pretty small, and losing it may be easy to do if you don't have a designated spot for it. Next, you've got the wired Bluetooth mic, which allows for hands-free calling in your vehicle. Just an FYI, if you're installing the radio on your own as I did, it was a pretty challenging part of the process. If you're curious as to how this is done, I'll leave a video link tutorial in the description. Next up, you've got bolts, followed by the required wires. Again, if you're doing a self-install, you'll need to purchase a wiring harness specific for your vehicle to connect these included wires to. Another challenging job is having to either crimp the wires or solder them together. You'll also want to ensure the harness you get includes an antenna plug adapter, otherwise you'll need to buy one separately to get AM/FM stations. And then lastly, you have the owner's manual. Here's the deck itself, which isn't too heavy or lightweight. Just from messing with it, I could tell the buttons felt really nice and provided a nice amount of feedback without being too clicky or feeling cheap. And the USB door is surprisingly sturdy as well. On the back side of the deck, from left to right, you've got the inputs for the radio antenna, power cord, microphone, and 2 RCA pre-outs. One last tidbit I wanted to mention about installing the deck. You may need a mounting kit, as I did, to help fill in the gaps the radio leaves exposed when installed. While the one I got wasn't a perfect fit, it definitely helps with filling in those gaps and making the deck look more complete. So here is the deck post-installation, which was a little tough, but now that it's in there, I figured I'd give you guys a demo and give you an idea of what it looks like when installed. Every time you start your car, the unit greets you with some flashing Pioneer text. I chose the blue color layout, but you can change that to some other options, which I'll detail shortly. From a design perspective, I thought the deck looked pretty cool, and the hardware and button layout is pretty intuitive. You've got that multi-control button in the middle that accesses different menu options and controls the volume. I like this dial, it's really responsive and has a nice click feel when turning it. On the left, you've got the source button that switches between the radio, CD player, which functions nicely, auxiliary, and Bluetooth audio. You've also got the dialer button, the band button, a search button, and a button to change what's on the display. There's also a handy back button, which is useful when navigating through the menus. Here you have the auxiliary input jack and the USB port where you can plug a flash drive or smartphone into. To access the main menu, you press the multi-control button. From here you can access the function menu, audio controls, illumination, system settings, and mix tracks. The audio menu is one to be aware of and offers the ability to boost your bass from 0 to 6, with 6 being the highest, the high-pass filter frequency settings, the fader, balance, and EQ settings. You also have loudness options and the ability to control your subwoofer. The EQ options are vocal, 2 custom options, flat, super bass, powerful, and natural. Another important area of the deck is the illumination menu. This section allows for changes to the colors of the stereo, as well as dimming the brightness. You can change the brightness from level 9 down to 1. Now here's something to note about the display. When driving in the daytime with direct sunlight, it can be a little difficult to see the display sometimes, and that's true no matter what color or brightness setting you choose. Now, one of my favorite things about the deck is the ability to change the colors of the surrounding lights. You can choose from blue, purple, pink, white, red, amber, orange, yellow, pure green, green, turquoise, light blue, and scan, which continuously cycles through all the colors. You also have the option to mix and match the colors of the keys and the display to give you a little more customization and variety. So far since installing it, I love the stereo from Pioneer. It does everything I wanted from a car stereo really well and is priced just right at around $120 to $150 or so. I love streaming my music wirelessly, and the ability to do hands-free calling is nice as well. The only minor complaint I have is the display being a little hard to read in daylight, which is not a major issue for me. The menu layout is super intuitive and doesn't cause me any frustration. I definitely consider this an upgrade to the stock stereo I previously had, and the audio sounds noticeably clearer as well. I'd say the installation of it was somewhat difficult, especially if it's your first time, so you may want to consider having it done by a professional. Also, if you're considering this deck, make sure to see if it's compatible with your vehicle at a site like Crutchfield.com or something similar. Other than that, I love the deck and would highly recommend it to anyone who doesn't need a higher-end car stereo but still wants some killer features and improve their car audio from the stock system. So that's it for me, but before I get out of here, I wanted to say thank you for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, be sure to check out some of my other videos and stay tuned as I'll have plenty more coming your way. I'll see you in the next one.